It's Christmas, the best time of year. Wait, I'm an organist. Oh, I know what will cheer me up. Dear Santa, I've been very good this year, uploading 5 whole Chiff Chats. What I'd really like more than anything else in the whole world is 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. And something I can watch on the telly that's about organs. Ho, 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 Merry Chiffmas! Today is the special Christmas episode of Chiff Chat. Welcome! You know, I feel like I've been working really hard looking at the most difficult organ music, tournament, constructing recital programmes. So today, we're going to sit back and relax with some homemade eggnog, and enjoy some organ-related media. But first, let me introduce you to Diane Bish. Now, if you're an organist, you've probably come across Diane Bish before. But if not, she's quite an extraordinary person. Famed for her dazzling performances and outfits to match, she's been on the scene, and indeed on the screen, for more than 40 years now. Her flamboyant style is not to everyone's taste. For example, I'm not a super big fan of her performance of John Rutter's Toccata in 7, which she plays in 8. Interesting artistic choice, but you can't deny she works really bloomin' hard. Now, Diane designed a new organ from Rafati in 1974 at the Coral Ridge Presbyterian Church in Florida, and was very proud of it, so wanted to use it to educate and inspire through the medium of television. After a few failed attempts, she managed to find a donor with all the right connections, and after a successful pilot, The Joy of Music was given a regular prime-time slot of 8:30 on Friday evenings, broadcasting Diane's unique, accessible brand of organ performance to an audience of millions. Millions. Diane's such a joyful lady, she clearly wants to spread her love for music all over the world. Heck, she even changed her middle name from Joyce, which wasn't joyful enough, to Joy, which was finally joyful enough. Diane's a pedigree, okay, she's a prolific arranger and educator and studied with Gustave Leonhardt, Nadia Boulanger and Marie-Claire Alain. She's been a TV presence since 1982 when she started the series The Joy of Music, commendably bringing the pipe organ to a wider crowd. Sort of like what I try to do, but like with an audience. She even has her own signature design of Allen organ, designing it herself.
In your choice of an organ, I invite you to see, hear, and play the Diane Bish signature organs. Thank you for listening and enjoy the music.
Now, there are over 500, yes 500 episodes of The Joy of Music following Diane as she gains access to some of the world's greatest organs. But obviously when you do so much of something, there's bound to be a few duff episodes. So as it's Christmas, we're going to take a look at one of them today. Now, if you've not come across this before, you're in for a real treat. Every Christmas, I make a pilgrimage to https://www.youtube.com/watch?v=4MQ2YTBPZ84 to watch The Joy of Music, a Diane Bish family Christmas. Well, I used to do that before Father Christmas actually bought me the physical DVD as a present. Well, all I can say is I'm so glad Father Christmas got it for me as a present. And I definitely didn't pay for it myself from the Joy of Music website, where the postage costs more than the item itself. And then I tried to play it and I thought it was going to brick my PlayStation when it froze for about 10 seconds the first time I put it in. Yeah, I'm so glad that didn't happen. So we begin, as all good Christmas specials do, with a carol on full organ, played by the lady herself, in just the most sparkly dress you've ever seen, until about 5 minutes' time, when there's an even sparklier one. Oh, there's a little doggy. And another doggy. Hope she plays some bark.
It is always a joy for me to come back to Kansas, the state where I was born, to spend Christmas with my family.
Always a joy. So here's the whole clan, and as you can see, some absolutely brilliant Christmas jumpers going on.
A very important part of our family Christmas is music. And we remember the many Christmases where we stood around the piano and my mother played and we sang and performed the carols of Christmas.
So they sing a bit of Silent Night and it's all very wholesome indeed. This guy's getting into it. And this lady is really getting into it. And so nice to have some trombone in the mix. Then we move on to the part where we get to meet members of Diane's family. And it's roughly about as awkward as you think it would be.
I'm very proud of members of my family. And I'd like to introduce you to my nieces and nephews and my grandnieces. I don't have any grandnephews yet. But here are Cindy and Stephen Priest. And they're a very interesting couple because Stephen was in architecture, but he's now, what do you say, in the train business?
I'm in the train business. I'm in training.
Oh, he must have had the same crack as I got.
And this is his wife, Cindy, who is a pharmacist. Now I'd like to introduce
okay. I guess that's enough of that.
Miriam, my niece, and her husband, Phil, and they're the Newmans, and their daughters, Havilah, or Havilah, shall we say Havilah, and Sophia.
She could have re-recorded that, but not Diane. Her time's too precious. I call her one-take Diane. By the way, I love these screen transitions. It's like peeling back some Christmas wrapping paper or tearing an awkward page out of a diary.
Rachel is my niece.
All right, the next lady is like the most humble brag person I think I've ever seen.
And has a wonderful voice. And tell us that you just graduated how many years ago?
A couple years ago from Wichita State in vocal performance.
And you sang lead roles in a lot of operas. Mm-hmm. Which ones?
I'm glad you asked.
Well, Johnny Schicchi by Puccini, also St. Bleecker Street by Menotti, and Madame Butterfly at a very, very young age. So,
and you're...
Oh, poor John.
And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that the whole world should be taxed. And this taxing was first made...
Why are they reading this bit about taxes? Apart from reminding me I need to do my self-assessment, it's just not very Christmassy. Look how bored Havilah is. Wait, Reverend Robert Priest? Well, that's nominative determinism at work right there. So Bobby Priest reads a bit more and everyone's sitting there thinking, where's the eggnog? John even has a sneaky look at the camera. Help me.
I would like to welcome my sister, Judy Priest.
Not to be outdone, Judy Priest has got a sparkly number on too. A little sibling rivalry, perhaps? I think Judy's actually won here, Diane, sorry. Then there's 2 verses of O Holy Night. Skip.
And they were in the same country.
Oh, they cut away just before the ending. You can't do that. Diane, I see that shifty look. She's like, get a load of this. Then we get some more readings and have a look checking out what's going on in Grandad's ear, followed by a really jazzy Joy to the World for organ solo. Yeah, I've got a feeling that mirrors not to see any liturgy or anything. That was an unearned key change. Joke's on her, I suppose, she's now got to play an A-flat major. Also, she seems to have invented a new time signature. I can't for the life of me work out what's going on here. Another key change? She's a regular old Beyonce. The big finish. Round of applause, please. And if that wasn't enough, it's followed straight away by Diane's own Christmas fantasy. It's just wall-to-wall hits here.
It is really a joy to be with my parents on this Christmas. They both are in their 80s. My father is 87, Howard Bish, and my mother, Esther Bish, is 83.
Okay, this is the best bit of the whole programme. We get Diane interviewing her elderly parents, and bless them, they've dressed up in their best Star Trek cosplay.
Back when I was in high school, or even before that, my parents purchased an organ for our home, so I was able to practice and also to play music. When we were young children, we would ask our mother to play something, just anything out of the blue, and she would just sit down at the piano and be able to play it.
All right, Esther, so here's Sarabji Symphony No. 3. Oh, I'm sorry.
But you studied, how young were you when you studied the piano?
Well, I was quite young. I think I was, I don't know, about 8 or 10 years old.
Uh-huh. Well, you know, I heard the
I do
organ
appreciate
in
the
church
tactical
so
camera
often,
cutaway
and my
there
mother used
before
to
she coughs her
play it.
guts up. Thanks.
And then my father is a wonderful artist, but his vocation is the
Oh,
printing
he's
business.
dead.
The-
Wait, if he was 87 when this was filmed, and he was born in 1908, that means this aired in 1995. So how did they know he'd die 6 years later?
In the country, and I would
Nice
get
paintings, though.
a picture of a snapshot.
I remember that on Christmases past, we used to all get together and stand around the piano, and Mother, you would play the piano, and I would sing or play the organ. Judy would play the violin, and we would all sing together. You remember that?
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm. Did you do that in your family growing up?
Well, we didn't have all that equipment.
On the Starship Enterprise.
Sweaters and everything.
Oh, she's dead too. Now I feel really bad.
Would you like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas on the Joy Music? Just say Merry Christmas to everyone.
Merry Christmas, everyone, and the joy of music.
Merry Christmas.
Now we've got Diane literally bashing out a load of E-flat major. Yeah, hello, ambulance please. Yeah, I think I have whiplash from that chord progression. It's easy to call this stuff all too predictable, but in fact she keeps switching it up. It's great. Even the plants are rocking out, they're like Audrey too. Then the big finish follows. Wowee. Look, I'm only taking the mick because I know that I'll never be this flamboyant or eccentric or American. I knew there was a reason for giving John so much camera time. They say if you introduce a trombone in the first act, it has to come into play by the third. Then we come to the very predictable part of every Christmas special. You know the part when the host walks around a sort of cow town, and she seems to have gone back in time, so that's cool.
Now I found just what I was looking for, Carlina.
Diane, if you would like to, if you have enough energy, because it's a pump organ.
I would love to. I would love if you ladies will sit down in the pew. I will play for you a Christmas carol here on the Cowtown Chapel organ.
It's a harmonium.
It's a pleasure to be able to spend Christmas with my sister, Judy Priest, and her husband, the Reverend Robert Priest. One time, we made a trip to the Mormon Tabernacle to hear the great organ there. And I think you remember a story about that, don't you, Judy?
Yes, I do. I think you were about 10 or 11 years old. Of course, there's about 5.5 years between us. And so I remember this very vividly.
Oh my God, is that an angel? Oh no, it's just a
We had
microphone.
never been to Salt Lake City, and we went to hear the great organ. Alexander Schreiner was playing it, actually. And we sat together, and I remember that goosebumps were just coming out all over my arms and all over my body because it was just heavenly. She says, I've decided today that I'm going to become an organist, and I'm going to become the best organist that I possibly can for the Lord.
Is this the Diane Bish origin story?
And not only that, but Judy started playing the violin, of course, when she was young. And then when I came along, I started playing the violin. Well, I got very upset because I didn't play the violin as well as she did. So I remember one day I just threw my violin away. I said, I'm not going to play it any longer. And so she is the violinist. And she's the organist.
Well, good. I'm glad we cleared that up. That wasn't awkward at all. Isn't it amazing how one small act of jealousy can lead to a lifetime of being an organist? And that's the true meaning of Christmas.
Thank you for joining us today on The Joy of Music, as we have brought you a family Christmas.
Pleasure.
All of us would like to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a joyous New Year.
We've already heard Diane play Joy to the World, but now we get a sung reprise over the credits. And I don't know about you, but I had a brilliant time. Wait, Don Piper? Oh, Hannah, Erica Minor? Does Diane have a rigorous job appointment process where she only hires people with musical names? If so, Diane, my middle name is actually Open Diapason number 2. And that's it! That's the Diane Bish Christmas special in all its musical, slightly awkward glory. Whatever you happen to think about her eccentric playing style, Diane's clearly extremely passionate about what she does. And the fact she's managed to connect with millions of audience members, both hardcore organ lovers and normies, speaks for itself. So, all that's left for me to do is to wish you a calm, peaceful and sober Christmas. And to play us out, here's my tribute to the understated stylings